My wife told me she needed space, but what she really needed was her ex. I didn't find out by fighting or by searching.
My wife had
Just
been quiet for weeks, almost like she was rehearsing a speech in her head that she didn't know how to deliver. She started spending more time alone, claiming she needed space to recharge. I didn't think much of it at first. We all need our own time, right? But the distance between us grew like a crack spreading through glass. Slowly, silently, until it was too big to ignore. She stopped laughing at my jokes, the ones she used to say were terrible but always laughed at anyway. She stopped eating dinner with me, opting for a late snack in the kitchen by herself. She stopped asking about my day. It felt like I was living with a polite roommate, not the woman I'd married. Her phone was always face down on the table, always on silent, always guarded. Whenever I casually walked into the room, she'd jump like she'd been caught doing something she shouldn't have. My mind tried to dismiss it, to tell me I was being paranoid, but the feeling in my gut wouldn't go away. One night she sat beside me on the couch. The TV was off. The house was silent. She didn't look at me. She cleared her throat and said those 4 words that send a chill down your spine. We need to talk. My heart tensed immediately. Nothing good ever follows those words. She told me she needed a break from me, a break. I stared at her, completely confused. We weren't fighting. We weren't struggling with money or big life decisions. We weren't unhappy, at least. I thought we weren't. I asked her why. Why a break? She just shook her head and said she needed time to think about what she truly wanted. My voice was barely a whisper when I asked, "Do you not want me anymore?" She looked away, her eyes fixed on the wall. "I don't know," she said. It felt like someone had just cut the floor out from under me. Before I could ask anything else, she stood up and walked away, leaving me alone in the silence to try and understand what I could have possibly done wrong. The next day she left early, claiming she had errands to run. She didn't kiss me goodbye. It was a small thing, but it felt huge. Hours passed, and a knot of worry tightened in my stomach. It wasn't suspicion, not yet. It was genuine concern. So I checked her location on our shared family app. She was at a cafe across town, a place I'd never even heard of, a place she never visited. As I watched the little pin on the map, my heart pounded. After a few minutes, another pin appeared at the exact same spot. The name attached to it made my entire body go cold. It was her ex, the one she'd cried over for months years ago. The one who had moved away after breaking her heart. The one she still followed on social media even after promising me she'd moved on. Suddenly, everything clicked into place. All the quiet moments, the guarded phone, the need for space, it all made sense. She wasn't confused. She wasn't lost. She was preparing to leave. She wasn't trying to find herself. She was reconnecting with someone she'd lost. I didn't drive there. I didn't call her and start a fight. I just sat there, staring at my phone, watching the 2 pins overlap for over an hour. It was the longest hour of my life. When she came home that evening, she was acting strangely cheerful, almost giddy. She said she had a productive day, that she'd gotten a lot done. I looked at her, searching for any sign of guilt, but her mask was perfect. I asked if she wanted to talk now. She just smiled tiredly and said she was too exhausted, then went straight to bed. As she walked past me, her perfume smelled different. It was a scent I didn't recognize, something she didn't own. The next morning, she was back to being distant, avoiding eye contact again. I decided to ask directly, "Did you see anyone yesterday?" She froze. Just for a second, but it was a second too long. Then she recovered, shook her head and said no. That was the moment. That was the moment I knew she was fully gone. The lie was so clear, so deliberate. Later that day, something told me to check our shared tablet. She had forgotten it since with her phone messages. My hands were shaking as I opened the messaging app. And there it was. Their chat history, stretching back weeks. It was filled with old memories, flirty lines, and plans to meet again. He told her he missed her. And she told him she never stopped loving him. My chest tightened so hard I could barely breathe as I read her confess that she felt trapped in our marriage. She wrote that I never made her feel the way he did. I felt like a spectator in my own life, realizing I was losing a battle I never even knew I was fighting. I hadn't stood a chance because I didn't even know the game had started. When she came home that evening, I didn't raise my voice. I calmly waited for her to settle in, and then I confronted her. I told her I knew about the messages. She went pale, her face drained of all color. She tried to deny it, stammering about privacy and trust. But the tablet sat on the coffee table between us, a silent witness to her betrayal. She finally broke down, tears streaming down her face. She said she didn't mean for it to happen. She said she was confused. She said seeing him again made her feel alive. The word stung because it implied that being with me made her feel dead. I looked at her, this woman I had built a life with, and I asked the question I already knew the answer to. Do you want to leave me for him? She just cried, unable to look me in the eye. Her silence was louder than any yes could have been. That's when something inside me shifted. The pain was still there, but it was joined by a strange sense of clarity. I told her I wasn't going to beg someone to stay with me. I told her that if she wanted to go, she could go. She cried harder, saying she needed more time, but I just shook my head. I said she'd already had her time, weeks of it, while I was left in the dark. I was done giving more. I went to our bedroom and packed a small bag. I didn't shout, I didn't break anything, I didn't make a scene. I just walked out the door without looking back. She followed me outside, begging me to stay, to talk it out. I turned to her one last time. I told her that talking wouldn't change the truth she had already chosen. She asked, with tears in her eyes, if I still loved her. I told her the truth. I said, I do, but love can't carry someone who keeps walking away. And with that, I got in my car and drove off.